Hey everybody, welcome to our next VGC 20 team analysis video. Um, we are here with the Perish Trap-ish team that we've been using the last quite a few episodes. So I say ish because it's not full-blown Perish Trap. Like the team's not super dedicated to it, but it does have an element in which the team was constructed around, which was Perish Trapping. But not to be solely reliant on it. Like, it's not the only win con of the team is to Perish Trap. It's designed to do other things with the Perish, but not simply Perish Trap. So, with that, let's jump in. I do want to say that this is a team that I'm very much liking, because it definitely is a team that fits my style. You guys should check it out if you're looking for a kind of a control team like this that's just really bulky and pivots. Like, this would be a team to try out for you guys or something like it. At least give you an idea of something like that. So let's move on. So we have the first Pokemon, which is the primary Pokemon to start with, was a Primarina, and this is the primary because, as you can see, it's our Perish Song user. So Primarina just got allowed for use in the format because of the Pokemon Home bringing in a new Pokemon. And the Pokemon company decided to allow those, and so we're going to take full advantage of two of those. But anyways, so we got Primarina, phenomenal typing. Like, if any of you guys ever use Tapu Fini, really good Pokemon because of its Misty Terrain and typing and just general bulk. Primarina kind of functions like it. It's different. It's slower, has more offensive power, so it's not as bulky, at least on the physical side. On this special side, it's a little less bulky, but about the same overall. No terrain is unfortunate. It does get a cool ability in Liquid Voice, which I'll talk about that in a second. But anyways, just Water Fairy, phenomenal typing, like especially offensively, which is kind of why I like Primarina. It's a good bulky offensive Perish Song user. And going into the set, I started off with a bold, just like really bulky Primarina, but I decided to go more offensive so I could also kind of use it as a slower tanky Pokemon that does damage, and made it a better Dynamax option, as well as better and like a little bit better for like when Trick Room goes up. I have a little bit more offense. So I ended up switching to a modest nature, in which, let's see, the speed just makes it hit 90. I was noticing at first, because I wasn't running any speed before, I changed that to be faster, because I was noticing having that extra speed was a lot more crucial, especially for like setting up things like Perish Song. The attack EVs, the special attack EVs, was mainly to be able to 2-hit KO those really like fully specially invested Incineroars that weren't Assault Vest. So with Scald in particular. And then I just kind of put the rest into HP and defense. I think it's able to take like a Max Quake from a non-Life Orb, Excadrill. So as far as the ability went, I mentioned that Liquid Voice is a cool ability in which it turns all the sound-based moves into water moves, which allows you to run like a really reliable spread water move in Hyper Voice. So it's not like Pixelate, which increases the damage, but still really neat. Two problems I ran into. One on the video, one of the videos where I Dynamaxed and went for Max Geyser, quote unquote Geyser, but it doesn't. Liquid Voice doesn't change Max Strike into Max Geyser. I thought it changed it because I thought if the base move changed, the Max move would change, but it's more just that Max Strike's not a sound base move, so that doesn't affect it. And the second issue, which sometimes I was running into, was Perish Song gets affected by Liquid Voice, which means your Perish Song becomes a water type move, which means if I Perish Song with like a Lapras or a Gastrodon on the field, they don't get affected. Their abilities activate. So that was kind of problematic. So I ended up switching to Torrent. So at least Primarina, when it's low health, has a little more damage output with Scald. So because Torrent's not a terrible ability, it's really not, but Liquid Voice would have been cool, but I think Torrent, Scald, definitely the right option. I think the modest nature with the EV spread that I have is pretty solid, so really happy with that. And so that's Primarina. Now the second element when you're running any kind of Perish Trap is you need a Trapper, and Gothitelle is the premier Trapper with no availability, like without Mega Gengar, or I guess you could use Wobbuffet, but I wouldn't recommend it, or Dugtrio. So yeah, don't. Well, Dugtrio could be kind of neat as a fast ground type, but that aside, so you want to use Gothitelle because obviously it traps Pokemon in. It's very bulky, and it's got access to Fake Out this generation, for those that didn't know, which is really awesome. yeah, and Gothitelle as a Pokemon I think is just really great. I really like it, especially because Shadow Tag works really well with other things, not just trapping for Perish, but like trapping in stat drops. Or I was thinking about how I can trap Yawn on Pokemon, which is kind of cool. So if they like Dynamax in front of Gothitelle and Snorlax, it's a Yawn. And spoilers, Snorlax will be coming up. So as far as the item went, I tried a couple different things. I definitely tried Colbur, Kasib. I settled on Wikiberry because I definitely found it to be more practical, or at least be more useful. Because there's a lot more times where I wanted that extra health that I would get from something like Wikiberry more often than I wanted to like take less damage from a Ghost or Dark type move. I think Colbur and Kasib are very good options, but I think Wiki was for me at least, Wiki seemed to be the better option. It does make things like Tyranitar and Dragapult a little trickier, but it's at least doable, I would say. And then for the EV spread, it's kind of a general EV spread that I just came up with. It's kind of a balanced spread, more favoring the special side because I do have Intimidate. So that's kind of what that did. Just there's nothing in particular it does. It could probably be optimized if I needed it, but honestly, Gothitelle just needs general bulk, and that's what I was going for. Until something really specific comes up, I just like this spread. You can even choose to max out one of the defenses and go with the nature for it if you really wanted to, but for me, this worked really well. And then I ran a Calm Nature, not Min Speed. The reason for that was sometimes Min Speed is good when you're running Trick Room or Perish, but in this case, what I wanted was my Fake Out to be faster than most Incineroar and pretty much almost every Grimmsnarl, because not every Incineroar is going to invest enough to outspeed a neutral speed Gothitelle. And that's actually one really nice thing about Gothitelle, that it's naturally faster than Incineroar. So sometimes that comes in handy. Sometimes it's iffy, but it's okay. It's all good. So, and the moveset was just Psychic, Trick Room, Protect, Fake Out. For a while, I was running Helping Hand over Protect, but I found like since I was using the Perish a lot more, Protect felt necessary. And then the next thing I considered was dropping Trick Room for like Ally Switch, which I tried it for a little bit, but Trick Room's just better, especially when I'm playing a win con of Perish, that I can set up Trick Room and be this like the last Pokemon to faint if I have to, or something like that. And I do have some slow Pokemon. They're not super slow, but it's good for just general control, like when I need that Trick Room up. It's really helpful. So Gothitelle, pretty straightforward. Trap stuff, stay alive, and then set up Trick Room if it needs to. But yeah, I will have to say Fake Out makes Gothitelle so much deadlier, because not only it's good for me to pivot around, but once it comes in, it can threaten Fake Out and stall another turn on a Pokemon. So that's huge. I think Gothitelle getting Fake Out really changes Gothitelle for the better. Alright, so next is our favorite Fire Cat, which maybe not everyone loves this Pokemon, but I'll admit it. I was happy to see Incineroar again. I love this Pokemon. I think it's like the perfect Pokemon for my playstyle, and I understand people's distaste for it, but that's okay. But yeah, so if anyone that played 2018 and 2019, Incineroar was like the king of the format. It was on almost every team. It's just like the perfect VGC Pokemon. But let me just get into the set then, and you'll see why, if those that haven't ever used Incineroar or experienced it. So this Incineroar is running a Pinch Berry. Another option is Assault Vest, and if you're running Assault Vest, you would want to change the EV spread most likely. But if I run Assault Vest, I'd probably consider a more offensive Incineroar. But for obviously Perish Trap reason, I definitely wanted Protect on it, so that's kind of why I stuck with it. But I didn't start with the Protect, I will say. So anyway, to the EV spread, the main calc this was going for was it survives a Max Quake or Max Rockfall from a Durant after it's intimidated, and that's pretty clutch. That was one of the sucky things about, I think, Arcanine, is I had to get rid of speed on Arcanine to make that work, but with Incineroar, it doesn't want that much speed anyways. So Incineroar can take that hit. The downside is if they have like a Helping Hand next to it and they go for Helping Hand, so which I was doing when I had Togekiss. So yeah, so that's Incineroar's defense. The speed was just to hit like 86, so it's 1 point faster than my Gothitelle, just for like general speed creep. It should outspeed most Incineroar, which I found really helpful. giving me that faster fake out. And then the rest I just dumped into special defense with a careful nature just to maximize its bulk. So, and then, yeah, it's careful nature, that's right. So, and then for the moveset, it's got a few options. There's 3. So it's like got a couple different options, but for the most part, it's Flare Blitz, Pivot Move, Fake Out, and then Dark Move / Protect. So at first I wasn't running Protect, I was just going Flare Blitz, Parting Shot. I never used U-Turn. I had considered it, but Parting Shot is just really handy. But there are some situations where U-Turn is better, and I'll get to that in a second. And then Fake Out for sure, because the Fake Out Intimidate is what makes Incineroar so good with its typing and pivoting ability. And then, so like I said, I ended up with Protect, which I'm actually very satisfied with, because it helps with the Perish Trap mode. Giving up the Dark move is kind of hard, but it's not the worst thing in the world, because I have other things to deal with, like what I want to hit with Dark type moves. The biggest one is like Incineroar can't touch, Chandelure, which unfortunate, because most Chandelure are running Flash Fire. But if you do want to run a dark move, Darkest Lariat and Throat Chop are your best options, and I think Throat Chop is really worth running over Darkest Lariat. Because if you guys don't know that, Parting Shot is a sound-based move, so if you're a faster Incineroar, you can Throat Chop the other Incineroar and shut down their Parting Shot, which sometimes that I was really considering Throat Chop, because even over Protect, because I can actually trap in opposing Incineroar and they wouldn't be able to pivot out if they're using Parting Shot over U-Turn. And so that's where U-Turn does have like a better utility, is that it can't get taunted or it can't get like blocked by Throat Chop. So I think Throat Chop's a really cool option, and if I were to run an Assault Vest set with U-Turn Throat Chop, that's what I would probably do. Maybe U-Turn Throat Chop. But nonetheless, Protect's still very, very useful, and I think the main reason I run Throat Chop over Protect is to block Parting Shot from other Incineroars so I can trap them if I'm going for that. But it's kind of niche, so I think Protect's just better overall. And there was one game where if I had Protect, it would have been way better, but I didn't, so I switched back to Protect, and I haven't regretted it yet. So, okay, the next Pokemon. This one ended up being really crucial. So this team originally started in before Series 3, where I was using like Lapras and I think Arcanine still. Like I was having a hard time with it, and the big thing was like those Duraludon Whimsicott leads and Duraludon in general, mainly because I was using Dragapult. And I was trying some different stuff, and then when the Series 3 came around, I was still having issues. And then I finally decided to give Durant a try. I played one team that used Durant a little bit, and also used like Durant Gothitelle, and I wasn't a huge fan of it, but a lot of it was just because of how I was playing with the team. But after I put Durant onto this team, I think Durant was the answer I was looking for, and what I was looking for was just something that was fast and very offensive. Because one of the problems with Perish Trap teams is they can be too defensive and too passive, which obviously is a problem, because if I come up against something like I lose my trapping option or I lose my Perish option, like what am I going to do? Or I come up against a lead, like I cannot lead against like Perish right off the bat or something like that, or I just come up against a team that just gets blown back by something like Durant. Now I have the late game Perish to end it. So that was the idea of Durant, and then it's just like its options for moves is really great. Like Iron Head, Stomping Tantrum, Rock Slide hit a lot of things, like, and it can just straight OHKO some Dynamax Pokemon. Like a no bulk Duraludon just goes down to Max Quake, like even if it's Dynamaxed, which is absurd to me. But yeah, so Durant was the offensive Pokemon I was looking for. Just Life Orb, Hustle, so powerful. Like if you guys don't know, Hustle boosts its physical moves 1.5 times, but it reduces accuracy by like 20%. But when you Dynamax, the accuracy doesn't matter, so you're still getting the Hustle boost and the Life Orb boost. It's insane. And then you can start boosting defenses with Durant. I think that's the big thing. Iron Head, Stomping Tantrum, boosting defense is really fantastic. So some other options for Durant are things like First Impression, X Scissor, Superpower, but I'm pretty satisfied with these 4 moves. It kind of hits everything I needed to hit, at least as for right now. But it's pretty straightforward, but I think Durant's a cool Pokemon. It's kind of like a new Kartana, but Kartana I think is a little better. But this thing's scary. It hits so hard when it Dynamaxes, and that's really what I was looking for, and it hits the things that I needed to hit. It actually has a pretty good matchup against Sand, which kind of surprises me, but when I think about it, it makes more sense. Okay, so those were the first 4 members. I did start off with some Pokemon here. It started with Manectric Togekiss as the last 2, and you can see the sets there. I ran the Serene Grace set there, you see, so I have like 2 different sets, a Super Luck and Serene Grace set, where I just changed the moves. So like the moves correspond to the ability used. So I started with that because I wanted something for the Durant mode, and Togekiss paired up really well with Durant. And then I went with Manectric because of Lightning Rod, and it's just a fast Volt Switch. Also gave me like fast Snarl, Flamethrower to take out other Durant, because I'm super scared of the Durant matchup. That matchup is a pain sometimes. So I was doing that, but then after a while I was noticing just some weird matchup problems, and team maybe not being as bulky as I would have liked, or it's hard to say. There's just something wasn't working, so I decided to, and also Manectric's Lightning Rod wasn't really being very useful, because it was good in theory, but it just wasn't coming up a lot, because there really aren't a lot of electric types out there. If it was Mega Manectric, it probably would have worked out better, but just regular Manectric wasn't as useful. So I ended up making the switch to Obstagoon. I decided I want to stick with the idea of like a fast pivot, so like a fast Volt Switch or Parting Shot or something, and I was juggling between a couple ideas, like Raichu and like an Assault Vest Dragapult with U-turn, and I settled on Obstagoon for a little bit, which I think Obstagoon's a cool Pokemon. It deters the Incineroar lead with Defiant, which I thought was really cool, because that way if I was going, like, if I led something like Obstagoon, Primarina, and I can Parting Shot out, bring in Gothitelle and Persian, I don't have to worry about Incineroar just pivoting out. So that was one idea to it. I ran Lumberry. Choppleberry I think is probably a good option too. And then Double Edge Knockoff Parting Shot, really straightforward there. And yeah, but then afterwards I thought of the other Pokemon I was debating between Obstagoon was Persian, but I didn't like the idea of running both Persian and Togekiss. But that's when I came up with another idea that I'm finding really satisfied with. So anyways, here's Persian. This is the set I was using with the Roselli Berry. So enough speed to outspeed base 110s. I didn't see a need to anything for otherwise, because there's not a whole lot of Pokemon between 110 and 115. So I just went with that, and then I maxed out HP and dumped the rest in special defense. I just made it really quick. I could probably optimize the spread, like the defense EVs a little better, but I just didn't, because I just wanted something to work with. I went Timid Nature. You can go Jolly for Fake Out to do a little more damage, but it's not really that much more. So I just went with Timid because I didn't really need either attacking stat. The main one was just speed, HP, and defenses. Parting Shot was the main reason to use Persian here, because it was a really fast, because I mean it's outspeeding most of the format, and it's gonna Parting Shot whatever I need to lower its stats, bring in something like Gothitelle while going for Persian, or just going into something else in general is better. Foul Play just so it can do damage, especially to some of the more high-hitting physical attackers. Fake Out is another good reason I like Persian. Gives me a third Fake Out user, so I could just really cycle Fake Outs to try and stall turns for like Perish or something like that, or just help control the game. Quash is a very particular move on this set. It can be useful in other situations, but it's specifically meant to be used for the next Pokemon, which is Snorlax, and I'll get to that in a second. But Quash is a really cool move. If you guys don't know what it does, it just makes the Pokemon that I Quash go absolutely last on the turn. So that can, and I'll show you why in a second. As for the item, I went through Roselli Berry. I mentioned that, but I think Aguav, or maybe there's another item that would be good on it. Roselli was just something I thought of, and so the Persian could use some work, but I like it. I think it fits. It kind of fits 2 different modes I was thinking about running when I changed it up to Persian Snorlax. And speaking of Snorlax, here is Snorlax. Kind of a weird mon, I feel like, but it made sense because it synergizes with Persian and Gothitelle because I have Trick Room for it. And I have a lot of Fake Out if I want to get up Belly Drum. And then what's cool about this, and this was a strategy in 2017 where you can have Persian Snorlax out, Fake Out Belly Drum, and then you Dynamax, or Gigantamax rather, and you can quash something with Persian because it's most likely going to outspeed everything. You quash, and then you take something out with a +6 Gmax Replenish or your coverage move. So that's kind of a cool option. Also, Snorlax is just a really bulky Pokemon that can come in and be a sponge for hits. And yeah, it's pretty sweet. So Gluttony for the early Figgy Berry, especially running a Belly Drum set. So 244 HP, it makes it hit a even number. I also wanted a lot of HP because I'm running Double Edge, so I'm just taking less overall recoil, or at least less overall percentage. Because sometimes you'd run less HP to get more special defense, but I just maxed out overall physical bulk pretty much for Double Edge, and then yeah, Impish Nature, max defense, and then just dump the rest into the other 3 stats. So Double Edge instead of Facade because it just does more damage, and Burn isn't as prevalent as it once was, but yeah, there's that. I opted for High Horsepower. Darkest Lariat's another option to hit things like Dusclops and Dragapult. But I went for High Horsepower because sometimes I like the max move because I'd be Dynamaxing Snorlax a lot, and boosting special defense is actually really good, especially for a team that wants to be more defensive. Belly Drum for those opportunities when I could get it up for free or something like, or just to put on pressure. You know, just keep Snorlax from being too passive. I can just, or if against more passive teams, I can just Belly Drum and now they're in trouble. So I generally didn't usually go for Belly Drum with Snorlax. I'd only do it when I absolutely had an opportunity or like really needed to. And then the last move, actually, instead of Recycle or another move, I went with Yawn. Snorlax is kind of cool. Like, it can just sit there and yawn stuff because it can take hits really well. And I don't think a lot of people will expect it, especially like they see Snorlax and they're afraid of it belly drumming. They're gonna Dynamax something and try and take it out. Then I just go for Yawn into their Dynamax, and now they're in a tough spot. So yeah, that was the idea to Snorlax. I think it's actually, its ability to yawn is what I really like. So, but like I say, it's another bulky Pokemon, takes advantage of Trick Room, pairs well with the Persian, and it gives me another set. It gives me like a setup offensive mode as well, you know, alongside Durant's just like immediate offensive mode. So that's what's cool about Snorlax. It's a Pokemon that can put on offensive pressure, which that's what I want on this team. I want a couple ways to put offensive pressure on, not just like a purely defensive Paras Trap team. Alright. Alright guys, and then general leads. If you're going to use this team, it's helpful to know what to lead, and here's a couple of the things I was doing with it. Usually if I wasn't sure what I wanted to lead against a particular team or how I wanted to play it, I would just lead Primarina with one of my fake out users or one of my like pivot users. So like I could lead Primarina and Incineroar, and then if the lead that works, I can go something like Persian Parting Shot. And what's cool is I made Primarina faster than Incineroar, so the Persian would go before the Parting Shot, so whatever comes in isn't affected by Perish. So that's one lead, and then, you know, Fake Out just gives you options, and then obviously Gothitelle, Primarina, just get the immediate trap for the Fake Out Persian if you want. I really like leading Persian with Primarina a lot because I think it gave me the most flexibility. So, or doing something like switch out Parting Shot, or yeah, there's just, that was kind of my general go-to lead until as I was learning matchups. And then there's a few matchups, particularly against teams with Venusaur Sun, I will lead Durant Gothitelle, and then the strategy is going to be fake out the Venusaur and then take out the Sun Pokemon. And even if Venusaur Dynamaxes, that's fine because I don't want Sleep Powder. I do not want Sleep Powder to happen. And then I take out the Sun user with the max Rockfall to get rid of the Sun. The one that sucks against that is Sash Ninetales. Sash Ninetales takes the max Rockfall, KOs with Heat Wave or Flamethrower, and rip Durant. But otherwise, that's usually the strategy. Or just general matchups where like Durant looks like he can put in early work early, and then I just lead Gothitelle Durant. They can't switch out into anything with Gothitelle there, and hopefully Durant just gets a KO while Gothitelle fakes out something. Or sometimes I lead it, wanting to bait them to lead against Durant, and then I just switch out Durant because Durant's such a threat that they're gonna target it down. It might let me maybe set up Trick Room for Snorlax, or just do something else and get into a new position. Or sometimes even just leading Durant plus something else in general and baiting them to go after the Durant. It's like you could even just lead Durant Primarina, bait that, and then switch Durant into Gothitelle and go for Persian or something. So a couple options. And then finally, another one that works is just leading Snorlax Persian, the other offensive mode, for to like fake out Belly Drum and then quash G-Max move something. I think is really great. Even leading Gothitelle Snorlax, although I haven't done it yet, in theory it kind of makes sense because I can trap and yawn, or just, if it works, like Belly Drum Trick Room if they don't have anything to stop it, or even fake out Belly Drum, or just whatever. I like the trap yawn idea, and then start getting stuff to sleep, especially if they're gonna not expect the yawning Dynamax in front of the Gothitelle and get trapped in. So yeah, so that's it for general leads. I think mainly the nice thing about the leads is it's really flexible. You can kind of lead almost anything. It kind of depends on what you're expecting and with the matchup. But I think by far I like leading Persian a lot because it gives me like the ability to kind of be flexible. Like if I lead Persian Primarina, I have a couple options, like I can parting shot Song, or maybe fake out attack. I've Dynamaxed and then like parting shotted, or it just feels like it gives me a lot of options. Like the leads are very flexible, and that's what I like in a team for myself. So yeah, so there's that, but try it out, get a feel for it if you would like to. And speaking of which, if you'd like to try it out, here is the code for the team. This is the exact team I've been using on the channel for the last few episodes. Yeah, try it out, and then you guys can kind of come up with your own changes. But like I said, I was going for Perish Trap, but not full Perish Trap. I just really wanted it's like a semi mode, because what's really cool is you can get off a lot of offense with Durant, where you get like a 4-2 or 3-2 lead, then you just bring in your Primarina, and Persian ends the game basically. So yeah, that would be it, guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. A little bit longer, but I definitely had a lot more to say about this team. So give it a try. I think Perish has potential, and definitely worth you guys' time. Alright guys, take it easy. Thank you for watching. I will get a brand new team out to you guys soon. I'm not going to say when, but I will get something out to you guys eventually. Otherwise, I might just use the Perish team a couple more episodes if I have to. We'll see. But alright guys, have a great rest of your day. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Later.